Good morning, Chavra. Today is the 5th day of Cheshvan. We are on page 81 of the Chayenu, and we continue in epistle 26. Question is, how can we possibly say that the Torah, generally speaking, comes from the tree of good and evil, the tree of knowledge of good and evil? How can we say that? Whereas the hidden parts of Torah come from the tree of life. That's the question that we were left with yesterday. So what's the difference? That means that there's evil involved in the like. You don't say that, We just Torah is our life.
Who said the Torah evil?
That's what the Zohar seems to say. That's what it came from the words of the Baal Shem Tov that quoted the Zohar, and we're like, it must be misinterpreted. So we gotta discover what's the real meaning behind it. In today's lesson, we still have another question, a powerful question on the Zohar. How is it possible to term any portion of the Torah as good and evil? Furthermore, even the mystics studied it, and it took precedence over davening, over tefillah. Even the mundane laws like buying and selling and ownership of a property, which we were learning last night. There's even a greater, incredible question for those that lack the understanding, the true standing of what the Zohar is trying to say. If you don't understand what the true meaning is, then you're going to have more of a question. How is it possible that in the days of Mashiach, people will not need to know the laws of ritual prohibition and permissibility and purity and impurity? How is that possible? You think when Mashiach comes, you don't need to know the laws. Everything's going to be, just perfect and wonderful. No, you're going to need to. Why? Why will you need to know the laws? You have to know, you're going to have to know the laws of shchita, the sacrifice, to slaughter the sacrifices, and also which animals are allowed to be used, which ones are impure, which ones may be disqualified. What about the laws of the knife? When you're shechting, drasa is pressing. You're not allowed to press. You have to let the knife do the work for you. Chalada is passing the knife under, going under instead of over. And shehiyah, which is pausing in middle of, you're in the middle of shechting and suddenly you I just forgot to text somebody. That's not, but whatever. So what about the knife itself? You have to know how to prepare the knife. Oh, we're not there yet. I'm sorry, I skipped something. No, yeah. Likewise, the laws of kimas hasakin, the laws of a knife that maybe have some kind of a slight imperfection, is it still kosher to shecht? Imagine Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot. We're going to go up to the Beis Hamikdash, and people can go many other times as well. Or we have to know these laws. We have to know the rules. Is there going to be a person who by very nature will slaughter without shehiyah? We're human beings. There's going to be a time where even no matter how perfect the world's going to be, you're still a human being, and you may make a mistake inadvertently. Now what do you do? What do you think? Every single time we daven, Mashiach comes, we're going to remember to say Yalav Yava and all these different things that we have to add. So we have to know how to correct them. And what about the knife? Do we know how to fix it? If we don't learn those laws now, how are we going to fix it if something happens to it? You can slaughter the cow, but if you hit a bone and it chips the knife, now you can be like, oh, Mashiach's here. It just should magically fix itself. So since these are physical impossibilities, people obviously have to know the practical laws governing the ritual slaughter. There are many other laws when it comes to sacrifices and so on. Charlie, you have to know these laws. You're a kohen, you're going to serve in the Beis Hamikdash. There's many, many laws that come to the fats of the animal, the blood, other prohibitions, eating the carbon at a certain time, within a certain time. So in the beginning of the time of Mashiach, before Tchias HaMesim, there's still going to be death. But it's going to be, a person's going to be young. If he's going to pass away at 100 years old, he's going to be considered very young. We're going to live a lot longer, healthier lives, but there's still going to be accidents. There's still going to be a concept of death. And so if we have to bury the person until the time, at the end of time, when all the, when Tchias HaMesim, and all the loved ones will return, slachta.
No, you said the end of time.
The end of there's different time periods of
about it.
So if there will be death in the world,
Of
we're
course.
going to have to bury them, and then the
Yes,
person comes
the-
coming. So now you have to know, what did you do? What about a woman giving birth? A pregnant woman and one who gives birth together will be among those restored till only on the time of Mashiach. A woman will give birth every single day, and these successive births will result from one marital union. So Take will see miracles, but at the same time,
there's going to be a lot of people.
yeah, just don't
No
worry.
one's dying, and too many people are getting
No,
hurt.
some people will die, but
They're not still there at all.
fine. We'll have to see, because everything's going to be it's going to be very different. We're not going to die from war and from, God forbid, any attacks or anything like that. So in the time to come, pregnancy will not last 9 months. On the same day that the woman conceives, she will give birth. However, additional children will be born on successive days.
Read this to someone.
Moreover,
They're going to appreciate
from that conception. Nevertheless, the laws with respect to restrictions resulting from her impurity will not change. She's still going to have to go to the mikvah and do the process. There's no need to dwell on something so obvious. The fact is that we're still going to be regular people, and we're still going to have to know the laws of Isser and Heter, what's forbidden and what's permissible, purity and impurity, etc. Mefursam, Hefkoi, Bechol, Hashas, and Midrashim, when the entire Talmud and Midrashim make known the reverse of the misleading impression formed by the superficial reading of our opening quote from Rai Mehamna. For example, the Forich Nechasa Limshicha. For example, the question is asked, laws for the time of Mashiach? Why would we need to know any of these laws? And the answer is, Shita, it's obvious. We're going to need to know these laws, because we're going to need to know a lot more of them than we need today. Today, we don't bring karbanos. So the question is, why state now a law that will apply only during the times of Mashiach? At that time, however, it will obviously be necessary to know it. Okay, so it's a new question. Why worry about what's going to be? I mean, we could simply answer that Mashiach's coming any moment, so we got to know these things, right? But furthermore, Ve'eliyahu ba lishay kol hasvekis. Any machlekes that we have, any gray area, Eliyahu Hanavi is going to come. He's going to say, "This is the answer." He's going to explain it simply. Parsha Asid Eliyahu Deroisha. This passage Eliyahu will expound in the future and so on. The law yispars from Talmidei Chachamim Ami Haaretz. It's also not understandable in the statement of the Rai Mehamna that the Torah scholars would not be sustained by illiterate people. What is that supposed to mean? As stated above, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is the root of Isser and Heter, will not dominate the Jewish people, because the Torah scholars will not be sustained by illiterate people.
Where is that?
We said that already a couple of days ago. Oh, you weren't here on Shabbos.
But we're saying that the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the root of halacha.
Mm-hmm. And why? No, we're saying that it is being said in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, based on the Rai Mehemna, that this is what he said. And I was trying to clear this up.
Yeah. We
have to really truly understand what it means. And the sages are not going to be sustained by the multitude who eat that which is ritually unfit, impure, and prohibited. Chas v'shalom. Even during the time of the Beis Hamikdash, they were not supported by these types of people who ate, all sorts of unfit and prohibited things. The scholars had fields and vineyards. They were very wealthy, actually. Nevertheless, nevertheless, they engaged in the study of laws of Isser and Heter and purity and impurity, even though they had no association with these types of people. For example, all the pairs of leading sages who lived during the time of the second Beis Hamikdash, Shehamidu Talmidim La'alofim Revavos, they raised tens of thousands of disciples. Believe it or not, Nistar Behester. And while the study of the esoteric book took place in secret and so on. So we see the fact that the Torah scholars need not be sustained by illiterate is in no way a cause for their not studying, God forbid, the laws of Isser and Heter, because they studied the laws of Isser and Heter. They were involved with people like this. It just, the Alter Rebbe is really laying the groundwork for a foundation of why things could be so misconstrued and misinterpreted, and he's coming to clarify it. We're going to continue tomorrow, but even from the clarification process, he still brings an important point that he says that in times of Mashiach, we're still going to need to know the halachic rules, since Torah law will be very much applicable. And even more so today, everybody's going to want to know the laws because we're going to want to follow. There's going to be much less strife, stress, and distraction, and we can focus on connecting and serving Hashem. So we need to know the laws of what to do in every possible situation. And God willing, we'll find out exactly how and when, because Mashiach will be here any moment. Have a great, wonderful day, Chavra. Thank you for joining us.